Welcome, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Good morning.
Welcome, Sunita, ma'am. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Good morning, friends.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. In our previous lesson, if I am not wrong, we have started with understanding theories of organization. Let me tell you, it gives you a comprehensive view about the development of the entire subject. Same thing you can write in, I think, even management thought, they teach the same thing, almost all. And here also we teach. Therefore, we have a quick glance regarding understanding these theories. I think I made it very clear that when I talk about these theories, they are not like the theories that we have in pure sciences. Then these theories, they talk about our way of thinking. There were some practitioners, they gave their point of view. There were some scientists like engineers, they gave their point of view. And there were some bureaucrats, they were giving some of the views relating to management. And all these things put together, we have started calling them as theories. Then I think over a period of time, what we're finding, our predecessor theories had certain limitations. To overcome those limitations, what we have done, we have added something. Then again, the next generation has seen some of the limitations in that one, or they wanted to synthesize, or they wanted to bring that fusion. They blended both the things, they call it another theory, very simple. So the moment when we say that we are moving from one theory to other theory, it doesn't mean we are totally discarding, we are calling the previous one as, I think, wrong, but only thing is we are improvising. I think I made this statement. The statement is, when I was young or when I was a child, I was thinking like a child. as I was growing, and now I'm started thinking like an elderly person. So this thinking is an evaluation process. And one more thing, I want to make it very clear. Even as a child, the way we think is depending on the exposure that we have. You agree with me? Our children, the way they think, it is totally different from the way we were thinking when we were children.
Yes, sir.
Today's generation happens to be Google generation. So whatever, see, they have a lot of exposure. That is, even as children, they have a lot of exposure. That means the type of exposure that we had when we were children, it was different. And the type of exposure the present day children they have, it is different. The implication of this statement is, even while thinking as a child, my way of thinking is different. So when I was a child, I was thinking like a child. Now I have grown up, I think like a grown-up person. I think it has a lot of implications. Now, relating these statements to our theories, let us start with classical organization theory. I think in management, it is there in our syllabus. I think we'll be talking about these things. The first one is scientific management. The second one is admin theory. And third one is the bureaucracy theory. And scientific theory, scientific management, it has come from engineer. And admin theory, it has come from, I can tell you, from a person who practiced. And the third thing is the bureaucrat theory. It has come from a person like an academician, Now, we will start quickly going through these things. With these things you are familiar, but when I am talking, there is a possibility for you to get, there is a possibility, I'm not assuring you, to get a slightly different perspective. Now, this is given by F.W. Taylor, considered as father of scientific management. And we try to put all these things or his thinking into two aspects. One is called mechanical aspects. These mechanical aspects are related to time study, motion study, fatigue study, scientific task and planning, differential piece rate, functional foremanship, standardization and simplification. These are the mechanical aspects. See, because his background happens to be engineering background, what he was thinking, the way we apply science to other area, why not we apply science to the area of where we are working? A science happened to be a systematized body of knowledge. And why not we apply that science to the thing that we are doing? Therefore, he has designed an aspect like how much time it takes, how many motions a person needs to take, moments a person need to take to perform the work, with what frequency people they get tired. Then can we design prior to the work instead of ad hoc designing? Can we plan? Can we introduce piece rate of work in order to encourage people? Can we have functional foremanship so that they will have that specialization? Can we introduce standardization and simplification? A wonderful way of thinking. And then there are elements, they are called philosophical aspects. First one is mechanical aspect, philosophical aspects. All these days we were having a rule of thumb. Why should we have that? They are not tested. Why not we develop for each element of a person's work? We have to develop. Then second thing is, people, they are different. Their temperaments are different. Therefore, why not we select people based on that person and suitability of job? And also, why not we train people? It's a very good thing. He is talking about why not we develop individual. Now, all these days we were thinking about individualism. Why should we think about individualism? Why not we think about cooperation? So he was emphasizing on cooperation. Then why should we restrict our output? Why should we give minimum acceptable level of work? Why not we give or better than best? Why not we incentivize? That is what he was thinking. It is also a wonderful idea. Then there is something he was talking about. There should be harmony. They should not be discard. But I think those who are conversant with music, they know the meaning of harmony and chords and other things. You try to, I think, fusion different kinds of notes that you create. I pursue this aspect is having lot of meaning. Those who are conversant with the music, I think they know it better. So it has two aspects. One is a mechanical aspects and philosophical aspects. Now, there are several positive things based on this theory, we can say. Then because of the scientific management, what was happening, the productivity will go up because people, they start giving their better than best. The cost of production will come down. Then when management, what should I say, takes the policy or develop the attitude of sharing and caring, the lower costs will result in higher profits, and a part of it will be given or shared with people because that caring and sharing attitude, and thus the standard of living will go up. And these things will result in industrial peace too. The most important thing of the scientific management of thinking is you are trying to match people and their jobs. It's a wonderful thing. But there were a lot of criticism also because whenever something good has come, people, they try to exploit it. And many times we do not want, some of the organizations may misuse these things. Therefore, they started saying the emphasis was more on mechanical and technical aspects rather than on philosophical aspects. The entire work has been depersonalized. It becomes too expensive. It may not be suitable in a small organization. That is what they felt. And always they were considering a human being as economic human being. And if I have to say economic human being, it's very, very simple. I'm talking in a lighter vein. Hope you are listening. Sunita ma'am, Abhinam sir.
Yes, sir,
Yes,
we
sir.
are listening.
In a lighter vein, I'm telling. If you come to my house, what will you bring? If I come to your house, what will you give? You heard this one? If I come to my house, what will you bring? If I come to your house, what will you give? Have you come across such kind of people?
Cup of tea, sir. A cup of tea or the water, sir.
I'll put it Abhiram Sam like this. Sir, Abhiram sir, if I come to you, Abhiram sir house, what will Abhiram sir will give to Krishna Kumar? If Abhiram sir comes to Krishna Kumar's house, what will he bring? The essence, you got it? Ultimately, Krishna Kumar has to get something. Could you get it, sir? In Telugu language, I think they say like this. మా ఇంటికి వస్తే మీరేం చేస్తారు, మీ ఇంటికి వస్తే మాకేమి ఇస్తారు. Now, when I talk about... Yes, sir? Vinod, sir?
Yes, sir. Understood, sir.
You understood. There are people always, they think about what will they get. And I consider pure economic man, they weigh between cost and benefit. And some people, they consider this theory always considers the economic man. But we need to understand, we go to work, okay, you have to get money. Do you think that we work only to get money? That's a big question. Some people, they are not liking work from home. You agree with me? You may get same amount of salary. Traveling expenditure is avoided, so many things. But they prefer to go to office and they prefer to meet people because the world of work has several dimensions. Sunita ma'am, you agree with me? The world of work, yes, has several dimensions. So, but this theory, what to say, it considers only economic man. They think this one is purely undemocratic. The person who is working, he is not involved in planning the work. Then the person who has done the work, he is not involved in the evaluation of this work. So planning, evaluation, execution, all these things are separated. So we consider this one as undemocratic, or people, they consider. And this theory always says, because it is based on scientific experiments and all these things, it considers there is only one best way of doing things. It is like this, there's only one best way to go to a place. Or it is like this, there's only one best way from Secunderabad station to Charminar. But all of us know, when you get into your cab, I think it changes the route depending on the traffic that is there. So the one best way, it changes from time to time. But this theory talks about only one best way. So these things make people to think, is it a comprehensive theory? Then they started improvising. So this is the perspective of an engineer in scientific management. Then we will take Henry Fayol. Henry Fayol, from his time, people started thinking about management in a systematic way. They have developed something called University of Schools, and Henry Fayol has given functions of management: planning, organizing, commanding, coordinating, and controlling. And he's considered father of general management. He called business operations into certain categories: technical, commercial, financial, security, accounting, and managerial. From there, he moved to principles of management. And people, they started appreciating these principles. They started questioning these principles. They started improvising these principles. So I think you might be asked in examination, critically evaluate Henry Fayol's 14 principles of management. Now, the first principle that he was talking about, why not we introduce division of work? It's good. I think from intermediate onwards, even before that, I was studying about a pin and how to manufacture a pin, making the different parts. If you give it to different people, what you can do alone is less, but together you do it more. Likewise, any work, if you divide and give it to people, I think we develop specialization, and there's a lot of improvement. It talks about division of work, then authority, responsibility, then there should be parity of authority, of responsibility. A person who is given authority, he should be made responsible. A person who is given responsibility, he should be also given authority. But all of us know that many times this principle is violated. People who are given authority, sometimes they don't feel responsible. Sometimes those who are working in colleges and other places also, you are made responsible, and to do that work, sometimes you will be lacking authority. Therefore, both the things, they should go together. They should be parity. They should be discipline. Without discipline, we cannot achieve anything. Then unity of command. You should get orders from a person. Then unity of direction, all those things which are interrelated should be under one category. Then subordination of individual interest to the organization interest should be there. Remuneration should be fair. Then there should be centralization. Then we talk of centralization. See, if things which are having, things which are having far-reaching implications and other things, if they are taken at one level, you call it a centralization. Authority should flow from top to bottom without interruption. Scalar chain we talk about. Then there should be order, there should be equity. Tenure should be stable. In unity, there is strength. I think these are the principles that are given by Henry Fayol. You might be working, what happened to this fellow? Sometimes suddenly I'll get some doubts. Immediately I'll be verifying whether I'm teaching in the right direction or not. That is what I have done. You have to excuse me. So, see, these things, they do happen. Yeah, because whenever we are teaching, we want to ensure. And I request you to, if I am deviating, if something is wrong, you have to correct me also. Say, as far as possible, I try to be careful, but suddenly it's a slip of tongue, I may commit a mistake, not blunder. You have to correct me. So these are the 14 principles of management. In unity, there is strength. And these are the things propounded by Henry Fayol. Then this administrative theory has contributed a lot. It spoke about systematic analysis of management process. Universal principles, they started saying these principles are applied anyway to any organization. Formal management education started, functions of management are given, qualities of management are given, but it is too formal. Sometimes we are feeling some of the principles that are given. I think with the changing times, they are undergoing change. For example, all of us know that unity of command principle. I think in the present day organization, we will be getting our instructions not from only one boss. I think we'll be getting from more than one boss. I think that is how we are violating the principles. It is not violating. We are trying to change to the changing circumstances. We are telling people, yes, we do agree under circumstances, whatever biology you told is correct, but under the changing circumstances, we need to modify it. Then if you ask what's the difference between these two, Taylor and Fayol, Taylor perspective is at shop floor level, Henry Fayol is at the top management level. Fayol's focus is on productivity, Taylor's emphasis on productivity, Fayol's emphasis on overall improvement. The reason is Henry Fayol Taylor happens to be a scientist, whereas Henry Fayol happens to be a practitioner. Then Taylor, because he happens to be a scientist, his results were based on scientific observation and measurement. And Fayol, based on his experience, he started speaking like universal truth. And the contribution of Taylor, it's on industrial management, whereas the contribution of Taylor is on industrial management. The contribution of Henry Fayol is on theory of management. It's slightly different. Now, we are coming to the third perspective of scientific management. It's about bureaucracy. Everybody criticizes bureaucracy. The simple meaning of bureaucracy is, bureaucracy happens to be a sort of organization structure. It rates on three important things. It is complex. Lot of formalization is there. Lot of centralization is there. When you have these three things at a higher level, you call that organization as a bureaucratic type of organization. Many people, they criticize, but in a way, it is good if you really follow it. Bureaucracy happens to be an integrated hierarchical structure. It has specialized offices. It is defined by systematic rules. It is impersonalized, routinized structure, varied, legitimatized authority. It's in the office and not in the person of the incumbent. Beautiful definition. And the first one is also very good. Now, what are the characteristics that we come across in a bureaucratic type of organization? Specialization. People, they follow rules and regulation. It doesn't matter X has come, Y has come, Z has come. They have to follow. They follow that hierarchical system. They need to respect. It is highly impersonal. It doesn't bother what you were yesterday, what are you today. It is based on qualification. So if based on qualification only, you enter into that profession, not based on your, just because I happen to be the son of an IAS officer, I won't become unless I go through that one. So it is based on your qualification. The career paths are clearly defined. If everything goes as per the predefined way, after 3 years where you will be, after 5 years where you are going to be, after 10 years where you are going to be, everything is clearly defined. And the employment is lifelong employment. So these are some of the best features of bureaucracy. There are several positive aspects that are given in bureaucracy type of management or organization. A lot of precision will be there. You can tell with 100% precision where a file is. If you really follow bureaucracy, the speed with which things they move, they'll be very high if you really follow. There will not be any ambiguity because everything is predefined. There'll be logic for every small action because based on logic they record. There'll be continuity, consistency, and predictability will be there. These are the excellent aspects of this bureaucratic type of organization. If you think the other side of bureaucracy, I think most of us also, we are prone to this one. As you do a particular type of work with specialization too long, a day will come, you are incapacitated to do any other work. So the greatest limitations of this one happens to be, you get into trained incapacity. Therefore, we say people, they have to move to different departments. Then you become too rigid because you live for the sake of rules without understanding the spirit of that rule. The main goal has gone. Then there is a word that we use, goal displacement. It's like this. When doctors, they work, I'll put it like this. I think maybe I've explained it long back. A particular hospital, I think somebody, government officials visited one hospital for this inspection, and those hospital people started saying, sir, we have improved our efficiency. How you have improved our efficiency? They started telling, last year we had 50 doctors, we issued only 5 death certificates. This time there are only 5 doctors, we have issued 50 death certificates. The question will come, what efficiency? Then sometimes all of us should know that traffic police people, they are meant to regulate traffic. You agree with me? They have to see the smooth flow of traffic is there, and in that area, crime rate should be reduced and all these things. But over a period of time, people, they are thinking secondary things, they are becoming primary things. And when people, they violate, then they will impose challenge and all these things. Likewise, we know several examples. But sometimes, not always, sometimes it so happens, secondary things, they become primary things, and primary things, they are relegated to backseat sometimes. That creates a problem. So it's called goal displacement. It's a very important goal displacement. In examination, they can ask you. Then impersonality. 10 years, I might have worked very well. 11th year, I think because of some reason, not well. I'm not in a position to do. Maybe I'm exceeding my leaves and other things, but they become too impersonal. And they say 10 years, what you were, okay, we appreciate you, but the thing is that different, but every year is different. So people, they become so detached. The human considerations, they come down, the lot of impersonality. Then people, they want to aggrandize. Self-perpetuation, empire building will be there. Everybody tries to control the cost. So in their pursuit to control cost, lot of anxieties they develop. So these are the other side of the story. So I'm not saying this is wrong, but when you are implementing, some of these things you can consider, you can try to improve. Now, based on these three, what we are telling, if you combine these three theories, it becomes classical organization theory. It is a traditional accepted view, beginning of systematic study, given by these people. Okay, division of, okay. Then all these things put together, the characteristics of classical organization theory comes. In the exam, they can ask you what are the characteristics of classical organization theory. They can ask you in that way, or they can ask you a question, critically evaluate scientific management, or do you think Henry Fayol's principles of management are universal? Each one of them they can ask you in a different way. So the features of classical organization theory, it is a traditional one, it's a machine theory, its emphasis on structure for coordination, its focus is on anatomy of the organization, or focus is on formal organization only. They think about individual efficiency of the organization depending on individuals. They do not think about synergy. Then they want to integrate the organization through centralization, authority, and control. Always they advocate there should not be any conflict in the organization. And this theory considers a human being is always economic and rational, and they say that there's only one best way of doing things. Then they consider the organization is a closed system. They don't believe in interacting with the environment, but we need to understand that if we have to progress, we have to interact with the environment, and we have to take feedback. And when you close to these things, I think your organization will perish. Therefore, we need to consider these are the features of any classical organization. It has certain fundamental objections. It focuses only on anatomy, on rules and regulations, on structure. It doesn't consider human relations. It's a closed system, doesn't interact with the environment. The static one. Always they think that they can motivate people with the help of money, but we tell people money does many things. Money can buy many things, but the most important thing is all precious things are not for sale. Money can buy many things, but all precious things are not for sale. Therefore, there's something beyond money a human being requires. That aspect was not given much emphasis. And they were talking about lack of universality, with the question mark. Then there was no empirical verification. Based on my experience, I started saying so many things, but there is no empirical verification. Always emphasizing on the hierarchical structure. They want to emphasize on bureaucracy. And I will discuss theory X, and it is advocating theory X. Theory X has got a traditional view, or people they consider a negative view about human being. I think these are the limitations of classical theory. Neoclassical theory writers also they objected this one. They were talking about only division, but there's a departmentalization. Scalar efficiency, they were thinking about only individual efficiency. We are talking about synergy. They're talking about only structure. Then we have to think today about line structure, staff structure, both the things we have to compare. Then the focus more on span of control, how many superior, subordinate can be controlled by a superior like that. But today, they were trying to fix a number, but today we are telling you can't fix that number. So therefore, based on the objection raised by neoclassical people, The next theory has come that is called Neoclassical Theory, which consists of human relations and behavioral approach. The first, our traditional thinking is considered as classical approach. It has three streams of thought, three kinds of people. Maybe one is engineer, another one is practitioner, the third one happens to be an academician. They started advocating their views, but we have accepted those views with small, I can tell you, modifications. So there are certain good things, they are useful to us. There are certain limitations we try to overcome. Therefore, human relations movement people, they have started developing. So human relation approach is developed. It's a reaction to the classical principles, but it did not abandon them. It did not abandon classical theory, but we are trying to improve. There are writers like Smithberg, Thompson, they said, let us try to modify structure. Let us try to infuse an element of human relations. Then Elton Meyer, what he did, they, based on their experiment, they said, let us have a little bit of human factors into this. That is how they started infusing human elements more into this neoclassical theory, but they did not abandon. This point is very, very important. The reason is many times people there are under the impression that classical theory is wrong. Totally, they are trying to, it has limitations. We are trying to overcome. Very simple. We are not totally abandoning. Then we are trying to modify the structure. We are trying to modify the structure in terms of flat structure, decentralization, informal organization. Then some of the things which helped to develop this neoclassical theory, the experiments conducted by Elton Mayo, and he's considered as father of human relations school. He conducted these experiments in GE company at Hawthorne, Chicago. There are 4 types of tests he has conducted. One is elimination test, which was focusing more on productivity. Relay assembly test talks about working conditions. Elimination test, he was talking about the impact of lighting on productivity. These are something very interesting experiments. They are. The results they got, they were beyond their expectations, and that has given birth to altogether new theories. Say, for example, in illumination test, what they did, they have started increasing the light, productivity was going up, then they wanted to start decreasing the light, and they were thinking, they wanted to write it like in economic theory, when you increase the light, production goes, or productivity goes up. When you decrease the light, automatically it will come down. That kind of theory, maybe they were thinking to form, but to their surprise, it was not like that. When they have decreased the illumination light to the extent of more light, even then, the productivity has not come down. Something what? They started thinking why people they are like this. Then relay assembly test, the working conditions are improved. Then what they did was they have immediately withdrawn the benefits that are given to them. Even then, the productivity was going up. Then mass interviews, people, they had a lot of complaints, but they were lending their ears. They were listening to their complaints. I want someone, sir, Abhiram sir, or Vinod, because the others are there, I know, but 2 people I could see, only 2 people I could see. I want to ask you, sir, when we have problem, when we share our problem with people, don't you think we get a feeling that our burden has come down?
We do feel so.
We do feel, no? Same thing happened. So they started realizing, yes, it's true. That mass interview helped them to understand people's feeling. And of course, I can talk about this one mass interviews. Then bank wiring test. So the informal association, they played a vital role by fixing how much they have to produce. Those who produce more were controlled. Those who produce less than the standard fixed by informal organization, they were controlled. Informers were controlled. People who are too officious, they were controlled. So informal organization, they played a vital role. So these are the 4 experiments based on they have started understanding, hey, listen, all these days we are considering only formal organization, but in organization, there is something within the organization which you cannot see, which you can only experience. And they started saying it plays a vital role in the growth of the organization. They started considering as an informal organization and the role it played. So in the exam, they ask you, many times they ask you, what is Hawthorne effect? Explain Hawthorne effect. So when they ask you about Hawthorne effect, this is what you're supposed to say. Based on this experiment, they have started understanding that organization don't think it's a formal system only, a structural system only. It is a social system. The social relations, they play a vital role. There is an impact of social environment. There's an informal organization which people, they start feeling. All of us, we are members of these groups, not only one group, we are members of several groups. Manager may be there, but there is also an informal leader in the organization who leads the organization. Then the communication is not one way, there's a two-way communication. The most important thing they started understanding was money is one of the motivators. Money is one of the motivators. That means apart from money, there are other things they play a vital role. Then conflict. All these days under scientific management, we were considering there should not be conflict in the organization, but we are telling people, listen, conflict, you have to integrate with the organization. Conflict is bound to be there because we are human beings. Then you have to relate work on the organization structure. This is the important contribution of Hawthorne. In the examination, they ask you what is Hawthorne effect. Some of you try to note down whenever I'm saying this is important. Please note down at some other place. Now I have to ask you, come on, give me important questions after completing the class, because so many important questions I'm sharing it with you. Now, there is one more stream of thought, human relations. Keith Davis, what he says, human relations is motivating people in the organization in order to develop teamwork, which effectively fulfills their needs and help them to achieve organization goals. There are 4 important aspects. Create positive environment, focus on people, try to keep people happy. Once you keep people happy, it leads to productivity. Then human cooperation is required. Now, listen carefully again. I'm telling you. A question tomorrow people, they can ask you. Do you think happiness always leads to greater productivity? That could be a question in your examination. Because, listen, I will take this point, happiness, productivity, to the next level. To the next level, I'll take there also, I'm going to discuss. I will discuss this point even in motivation theory also. I will discuss. This point is very important. Somewhere you note down. Do you think happy workers always perform well? Okay, I'll discuss this one. Not now. There are 4 elements in this one: worker, work group, work environment, and leader. They play a vital role, and that leads to greater productivity. This is the essence of your human relations movement. Some of the characteristics of human relations and neoclassical theory, they talk about a human being is self-actualizing. Then there should be democracy, not authoritarianism. Job is the primary source of satisfaction. Motivation comes through your involvement. Then it advocates theory Y. Previously I spoke about theory X. Now I spoke about theory Y. I'll talk about these things. And theory X, theory Y is very important. And theory Z also I will discuss. Okay. Already I have discussed theory Z. But theory X, theory Y, I will discuss. Then organizations do not think they are only technical systems. Organizations are socio-technical systems. We need to understand that people, they are different. They are different in terms of their attitudes, perceptions, values. Always a fusion is required to integrate individuals and organization. Reason is, my temperament might be different. The place where I am put might be different. I think you might be knowing. In your office, there could be chatterbox. And there are some people, they speak very less. There are some places within your organization, there are some places where people should not speak. There are some places in your organization, people, they should speak. You need to identify which person to put in which department. If you do not do that, the problem will come both to the individual and also to the organization. Then a wide range of factors that influence interpersonal relations, group behaviors. And this one happens to be a data-based one. Then if you ask what the criticism of this theory, always pro-management, it accepted conflict, but it had narrow view. Always talking about satisfaction. It wants to keep people very happy and all these things. These are some of the negative, I'll put it, critical aspects of neoclassical theory. The contribution, it has got moral justification. It talks about people side of management, emphasize on social satisfaction. A lot of emphasis is placed on group dynamics, and it started considering a human being is a social man. There is no one best way of doing things. These are the positive aspects. Okay. Now, when we talk about behavioral science approach, which is in classical theory, what we say is, whenever you are considering organization, 3 things you have to consider: social, psychological, and anthropology. Three things you have to consider. Okay. What are the extra things that I can teach? Okay. Right. Now, we have seen classical organization theory and neoclassical organization theory. Now, let us move to the next level, that is modern organization theory. Quickly, I'll go through it. An organization is a structured process in which individuals interact for objectives. Classical theory was on structure. Neoclassical theory was on people more. And this theory talks about you need to integrate both people and structure. It integrates classical and neoclassical theory. MOT has been evolved on the pattern of general system theory. And it considers that organization is an adaptive system. You have to adapt yourself to the environment, and you need to think that you are interdependent, and organization has got multi-disciplines many times, or you call many a time. It is also considered as a systems theory. These are the features of modern organization theory. Open systems are those systems which interact with the environment, and where there is a feedback, that system is called open system. You have got different levels in an organization system. Organization is a social system because it has people. Because it adapts itself to the changing circumstances, it's called adaptive. It has got socio-economic, cultural, legal dimensions for any problem. It is dynamic, ever-changing. It is not static. It has got different variables. There is no definite answer. It all probabilistic. And it is an integrated approach. That means it considers classical theory, neoclassical theory. That is how this modern theory has come. It has got two components. One is systems approach. Second one is contingency approach. A system approach is composed of related and dependent on elements, which when in interaction, they form unitary whole. The features of systems approach, they have a goal. Every system, computer is a system, it has got process. Then when we talk about system, it could be process talks about input, throughput, output. Closed systems are those systems which they do not interact with the environment. Open systems are those which interact with the environment. They have subsystems. These subsystems are really interrelated. When something goes wrong with any part of the subsystem, you get into a problem. The process is input, process, output. Flow will be there, flow of information, flow of material, flow of energy. There is a synergy. Always we need to remember there is synergy. Every system has got synergy, very important from examination point of view. Synergy way, in a simple way, then when these interdependent parts, when they come together, what they do individually, when they come together, the result will be more than what they can do individually. That's the simple meaning of a synergy. Then every system has got a boundary, but where is the boundary? You do not know. Then boundaries are open. The system has got boundary. There's something called feedback through. I can tell you. I think the other day I was sharing with you. Our body is an open system. Post the permissible limit. We take feedback. Likewise, you have to take feedback. We want to regulate. Say homeostasis. You want to regulate your system. When you get fever, you take tablet. You want to regulate system. When then weather is not well, you want to regulate your system. The negative entropy destruction, to that one you put negative so that positive results you try to achieve. It is a very big concept. Then there is something called differentiation and integration. Through that process, organization, you want to take it forward. By changing your inputs, you want to achieve same output. There is something called law of equifinality. So these are some of the things which we need to understand. Okay, I'll get to this point. Once again, I'll try to touch upon in tomorrow's session. Now the time is up. Thank you so much. Hello, Radhakrishna, you are there, I think.